Hey everyone, Brian here, back again. Second video in 2 weeks. So I think I will start making more videos. Just some subjects that kind of came to mind. Last week I did a Mario one. This week I'll kind of go a little bit quicker, but I wanted to talk about one of my favorite series of all time. That's Dragon Warrior Dragon Quest. So on the NES, very early, I didn't have or play any role-playing games, and this was the first one I was introduced to. And how I was introduced to it was this magazine right here with Mario 3. So in the Mario 3 there was a choose your own adventure like book with Dragon Warrior. So it was a text adventure like choose your own adventure. You read and you pick like go to number 9, and then you go to number 9 on the box, and then it tells you what happens and go to that next box. So I played that a lot, and you can see this issue is used a lot. And then I subscribed to Nintendo Power after this, and the Contra issue was next. And I got my first issue. It was awesome, and I wasn't expecting to get Dragon Warrior in the mail. Nintendo was doing a promotion where they gave away this if you subscribe to Nintendo Power. So the difference is being that it came with this handbook to help people, because role-playing games were new in the US, on the console, to help you guiding all the way through the game. So they gave you this. They gave you an awesome map. Here's the Kingdom of Alphagard with all the points of interest. And on the back I love all the monsters with their color-coded areas of where they resided. And also, well, you have the instruction book. And I love the cover art of this game. Pretty awesome. And the way you can tell this is a Nintendo Power subscription copy is if you look at the flap, if it gets focused a little bit. There's a number right there. See 90,601 under NESDQ USA? That's the copy number that they gave away. So that's how you can tell. So this game, I never played anything like it. This was one of my first NES games. I had Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, Super Mario Bros. 2, Kung Fu, Castlevania, maybe Ninja Gaiden, and in this game. And I didn't know how to play it. I was fascinated with it when I first got it. I wanted to play it more than anything, and I didn't know how to play it. It quite didn't click. I still liked it. I remember my sister had a chorus recital or a concert, and my parents made me go, and I didn't want to go. I just wanted to play Dragon Warrior. And when I went there, I talked to this other kid, Chris was his name, and he had the game. I was telling him about it. He said he beat it, and I was amazed that he beat it, and he was telling me all about it. So when I got back, it just clicked with me. I love Dragon Warrior so much because you start out, you get stronger, you buy better equipment, it allows you to go to a further area and do the same thing. I love that whole grind of it. The battles were awesome with the first person. You had a sense of exploration in that game, unlike anything I ever played. And the other games on the NES I did not have, but I did borrow from a friend. The next game I played was Dragon Warrior 3. This one's amazing because you had different party members, but they weren't a set party member. So you start the game, it's on your 16th birthday, and you get woke up by your mom, and she tells you to go meet the king. You meet the king. He says you have to go on a quest to save the world. You go to the cavern, and you pick out 3 other party members for your quest. There's a cleric, a mage, wizard, soldier, fighter, and a goof-off. From there, you go out into the world. You find out where to go. You fight monsters. Awesome. And the artwork on the monsters is another thing that I love. They just look so amazing. and you can fight monsters, get stronger, get better weapons, armor. And it's that loop that I love about Dragon Warrior so much. Dragon Warrior 3 is my favorite on the NES. A very, very good game. A prequel to the first game, and near the end of that game, you go into the Gaia's volcano or Cave of Navel or something, and the whole world of Dragon Warrior 1 is there. And you do the same thing you did in Dragon Warrior 1. You get the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and you get to make the Rainbow Bridge to fight Zoma. Dragon Warrior 3 is a prequel to Dragon Warrior 1, where the hero in this game would also get the Staff of Rain, Stones of Sunlight, and fight Dragon Lord. To make the Rainbow Bridge to fight Dragon Lord. So, coming from Dragon Warrior 1, Dragon Warrior 3 was amazing. Multiple characters, it was a lot bigger, the monsters were great. It was a grand adventure. And next I played Dragon Warrior 4. Now, I borrowed this from a friend, and so I never had it, but I love this game a lot too. It's different from the other ones in that you have set characters this time. So, it's divided into chapters, and as a matter of fact, the re-release on the Nintendo DS in 2006 would be called Chapters of the Chosen. And there's 4 chapters. Chapter 1 with Ragnar McRyan, the soldier who finds missing kids. Chapter 2 is with Elena, a Russian-like princess, with her friends Bray and Christo. Bray is a wizard, Christo's a priest. Chapter 3 with Talon the merchant. Chapter 4 with Mara and Narada dancers. After it introduces you to all those characters, you play their little chapters. Chapter 5 is the hero's legend. So you start out in Chapter 5 as the hero, you go all around the world to places you visited, meet these characters, they join you, and then you go another whole chapter about beating the main bad guy in the game, Necrosaro or Pissarro. And then this starts a whole new trilogy, the Zenithian trilogy. Dragon Warrior 4 is my second favorite on the NES. After 3, I love this game to death. And 3 is just, I like 3 a little bit more because I think it was so mind-blowingly expansive after the first one. And I like that it felt more like a D&D game to me, and then the fact that you picked your characters at the beginning. But I highly recommend 4 if you've never played a Dragon Quest game. 4 is a good one to start with, because it has actually set characters instead of picking your characters. And the DS game is relatively cheap and very, very good. They updated the graphics to more of a 1632-bit look, and it sounds amazing. It's a great, great game. So also, Dragon Warrior 3 got re-released on the Game Boy Color. Here's the Game Boy Color version. If you want to play it, this is also a great way to play it. Color, and I think the translation is different. So yeah, pick this up if you can't find the NES version. So, Dragon Warrior 2, I actually never played growing up, and I just beat it for the first time last year over the summer. So Dragon Warrior 2 is the hardest of the Dragon Warrior games, Dragon Quest games. When they tested it, they had problems near the end with too many monsters showing up and could wipe you out completely. The part in particular is near the end. You have to go to Rhone, an old land surrounded by mountains, and you have to go through a cave to get there. But when you're in there, some of the toughest monsters in the game are there, and they're not balanced out. It's very easily to get wiped out, even at a higher level, by 4 green dragons or just random luck to get through there. You had to. And if you die anytime there, you got to go back for the cave. And once you get to the cave, there's colossuses there that are very strong, and fire-breathing enemies there. And if you die at any of those points before you get to the final save, you got to go the whole way back. It took me quite a while, and I had to use a walkthrough to get through that. I can't imagine playing through that game without a map, because there's pits in that cave that take you back to the beginning. There's dead ends, and all the while you have to deal with these strong and possibly hard monsters. So to get through there was almost like you had to be lucky. But up until that point, it's very open. One of the more open Dragon Warrior games. You play as So Dragon Warrior 3 was a prequel to the first game. This is a sequel to the second game, obviously, where you're the relatives of the hero in Dragon Warrior 1 were given kingdoms. So you play as the descendant of him, and you have to go out on a quest to beat Hargon, and you go and recruit your cousins, the Princess of Moonbrook and the Prince of Canuck. Princess is like a mage, and the prince is like in between strong and like a fighter and a mage, but he's not very good at either of them, and you're the main strong fighter. So once you do that, you get a ship, and you have to find the crests to get Rubrus's help to get to Rhone and then fight Hargon. And once you fight Hargon, you find out that the main hero, Malroth, shows up. And it's a tough fight. I'm very, very glad to have beaten this game. It's like a badge of honor if you beat Dragon Warrior 2, because it is very, very hard. But a very good game. It was also, 1 and 2 were also released on the Game Boy Color. So if you can't play the NES versions, these are updated with, they balance it a little bit better, and has these cool like chibi art on the front. Also talked about Dragon Warrior 4, and so I'll say that the first 3 games, Dragon Warrior, which introduced me to the series, and after that I loved it. Dragon Warrior 3, which is my favorite on the NES. And Dragon Warrior 4 are some of the best classic RPGs you can play. Dragon Warrior 1 is a nice brief story, especially if you play the Game Boy Color remake. Dragon Warrior 4 on the DS is very easy to get into and very addictive. And Dragon Warrior 3 is very classic in the sense role-playing game. Dragon Quest is the RPGs that I love the most. They're the ones I get into the most. Because of the monster design, it's very friendly. If you fight and you die, you lose your gold, but you still gain your experience. So if you keep throwing yourself at a problem, you'll get stronger eventually to beat that problem. I just love Dragon Quest. It's just a great series. So I talk about Dragon Warrior 1, 2, 3, and 4. So after that, the Super Nintendo came out, and my friend, I was at his house for a sleepover, and he told me he called like Nintendo Power hotline. He asked what they were playing, and they said they were playing Dragon Quest V, and it was coming out on the Super Nintendo. So we were looking forward to that. It ended up never coming out, but I did come out on the DS in 2008. And Dragon Quest V, I beat it this year for the first time. And you start as a kid, and your father fights with you, and you get sold into slavery, and you escape, and then you get turned into a statue somehow. I don't want to explain too much, but you eventually get married, and you have to pick a wife between 3 choices. There's Bianca, your childhood sweetheart, another girl, the mayor's daughter of some town, and another girl. I forget, she's like a very bad girl kind of girl. And then you pick them, and then you have kids, and then the kids fight with you. Very, very, very cool. But yeah, very fun game, and I will replay this game in a few years. So Dragon Quest VI, we never got that until 2010. This is the DS release. This came out as the Super Famicom in Japan. We got the DS version here. Very much there's like a dream scenario where you play in a real world and a dream world. You start out fighting the last boss, but you go, it's like a dream, and it's very, very, very intricate story. But very, very good game. Don't have a lot because I haven't played it more than once, but it's very similar to the next Dragon Quest game, which I did buy, and it did come to North America. That's Dragon Warrior 7. So this was the last game to use Dragon Warrior in the US. This is for the PlayStation around 2001. I played the heck out. Dragon Warrior 7 is one of my favorite RPGs in the Dragon Quest series. I played the heck out of this on PlayStation 1. I know a lot of people don't like the graphics, but I think they're beautiful. The only things that don't hold up are they tried to put in CG cutscenes in this game, and they just don't look too good. They don't age that well. Um, so Dragon Warrior 7. You start out on this small island. You're with your friend. You find this temple. You go inside. You find these shards. You put them on a pedestal, and you get taken back in time to a world. You fix their problem. You go back to your time, and it unlocks that world in the ocean map. So you do that over and over again, and the map slowly expands to this huge world from where there was once just one island. So I mentioned the 6 and 7 are very similar, and that's because of the case of the job system. So the job system in 6 was very robust, where Dragon Warrior 3 had the 4 or 5 classes. 6 had a lot, and 7 had even more. You had monster classes as well. Just very, very, very intuitive, and very, very fun to play. I put over 100 hours in Dragon Warrior Quest 7, Dragon Warrior 7 on the PlayStation, and when it came out on the 3DS in 2017, I put 300 hours in it. It's just very addictive and just very fun to play. The 3DS version is so much more beautiful than the PlayStation 1. And I like the PlayStation 1 a lot, but this is like really, really beautiful. One of the better looking 3DS games. One of the best RPGs you can get on the 3DS game. On the 3DS. It's long, but at no point was I getting tired of it. Just an amazing game. So around 2005, Dragon Quest 8 came out. So this was the first one in the US to use the Dragon Quest name. So this game, the first thing that strikes you is it's gorgeous. It's like an animated cel-shaded look. It's fully 3D, first one in the series. And just one of the... I haven't played a lot of PlayStation 2 RPGs, but this one is just amazing. You play as like a king who got turned into a goblin little creature. King Trode is his name, and you're the like hero of you were on his guard, on his king's guard, and you travel with your friend Yangus, and you meet Jessica and Angelo, and there's a whole you follow this evil guy named Dalmangus who turned him into a frog, or the king changed him into a troll. And there's a whole, you follow him, and then when you find out about him, you beat him, you find out a whole nother quest to do. Very beautiful. The music's amazing, fully orchestrated. One of the best games you can play on the PS2. And it was also released in 17, sorry, on the 3DS. This version added 2 new characters, Red and Mori. Mori's like a fighter, monster trainer, and Red's like a pirate. She can use whips and fans, I think. Another beautiful game. You see the cats back here. They improved the alchemy pot, so it's instantaneously. You throw ingredients into a pot, mix them, and it happens right away that you either get a weapon or not. You don't have to wait. Like in the first game, you had to wait, put your items in a pot, and walk, and after a while it would happen. This one, it happens right away, so you don't have to wait. Dragon Quest 7 and 8, if you have a 3DS, these are amazing games. Get them if you like RPGs. Dragon Quest 9 came out in 2010. When I played this, I remember I liked it, especially the Swine Dimples Academy, which is a play on Hogsworth, but I didn't love it. It's a good Dragon Quest, it's just not my favorite. It relied on a lot of you having people to play with, and I didn't. If you had people to play with, they could join your game. I beat it, and it was okay. I mean, it's Dragon Quest, it's still good, but it just wasn't my favorite. What I did like is every piece of equipment you equipped it would change your character. So it was very customizable in that way. Next, we have, I think this is my favorite Dragon Quest of all time. If not, it's up there with one of the best games I ever played, role-playing games I've ever played. That's Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age. This game is everything about Dragon Quest condensed into the best that they could make it. All the refinements over all those years into one game that's just simply breathtaking. The music is amazing. The graphics are amazing. The gameplay is amazing. The monsters look, they're so adorable. You fight saber cubs and they roll around on the ground. You don't want to kill them. They look amazing. The characters are great. And this plot twists in it are amazing. There's 3 acts, and I don't want to spoil anything, but of those 3 acts, I put 100 hours into each. I put like 300 and some hours into this game. And when it comes out on the Switch later this year, I'm going to buy it again. They released a 2D mode where it's all like a 16-bit, 32-bit top-down RPG, 16, 32-bit graphics. All your party members follow behind you, so it's not just you walking. You see all other 3 of your characters walking behind you. The score is orchestrated this time instead of being MIDI sampled. I did everything you could possibly do on this game. The crafting system with the fun-size forge is amazing. I maxed out every piece of equipment, made every piece of equipment, maxed it out to 3 stars, fought every monster, got every achievement, did pretty much everything you can do. And when I was done, I wanted more. This is how good this game is. If you like JRPGs or Dragon Quests at all and you haven't played this, you're waiting for the Switch version or whatever, you will not be disappointed in this game. It is one of the best experiences I've ever had playing a game. And this last year with Octopath Traveler made one of my best years of playing games ever during those few months. You had Octopath Traveler in July, and then this came out in September. Just amazing. I was in heaven playing those 2 games. And Dragon Quest XI, play it when it comes out or get it for a PS4. Beautiful game. Beautiful. So the other game I played some spin-off games as well. This is Dragon Quest Rocket Slime. So this is an interesting game. You play as a rocket slime, a little slime of a kingdom who gets these bad monsters come in and take all the slimes away. So you have to go through these areas and find the slimes. There's 100 of them. You throw them on little carts to take them back to the village. You find items and stuff to take back to the village. And every once in a while you have these giant tank battles with other tanks. And you can infiltrate them and destroy from the inside, or you can fight them by shooting projectiles at them. Very fun game. Not too long. Very charming. The dialogue in this is great. There's good puns. You fight a big tank called the Chrono Twigger. He's like a big tree, so they call it Chrono Twigger. Very funny. Great game. Dragon Quest Swords. So I played this just this year. I liked it, but there was a problem in the controls with the Wii Remote. You had to be so precise with your movements, and it didn't work all the time. But despite that, I still played a lot. Played it, and it's not too short, or not too long, I should say. Very fun, but very frustrating in that if you weren't right on with your movement, it would register a different slash. So I should explain. You play this game with just a Wii Remote, and it's like think of House of the Dead when you're fighting. You're on rails moving straight, and then enemies pop up, and you use the Wii Remote as a sword, and you use a shield to pull up your shield and block projectiles and stuff. So it's very cool in that regard. The graphics are really good, very colorful. It's like more of an arcadey game, and it is fun, but it just doesn't control very well sometimes, but still worth a play. So that's it. A little thing on Dragon Quest, one of my favorite series, Dragon Warrior Dragon Quest. Still playing Dragon Quest. I want to play the Dragon Quest monster games. I haven't played those. There's quite a few. There's a few on the Game Boy, and then there's some on the DS I want to play. So that's all my Dragon Warrior stuff, or games I played, and hope everybody has a great day. Bye.